Hey there! Don't mind this, by the way. Today we'll be moving on from the hard basics of Illustrator and into the actual art aspect of it. To start with, I'll be going over the default shape tools and how they work. If you've been following along with previous videos, you'll know that the shape tools can be accessed here. It's typically set to the rectangle tool by default. In case you can't find it in the toolbar, you can always swap to the rectangle tool by pressing M on your keyboard. If you click and hold over the shape tool, or right-click over the shape tool, you can find a menu of alternate shapes you can access. Only one of these shapes can be quickly swapped to with a keyboard key by default. The rectangle tool can create boxes of any shape and size, as I hope you're well aware of by now. The rounded rectangle tool can do the same, but with rounded corners. You can press the up or down arrow keys on your keyboard to make it rounder or sharper, or drag these circles around after you release the mouse and created the shape. The Ellipse tool creates ovals, or circles if you can drag a perfect enough shape out. You can quickly swap to this tool by hitting L on your keyboard. The Polygon tool can create a variety of multi-sided shapes. You can press up or down on your keyboard to increase or decrease the amount of sides it has. You can hold up until it practically becomes a circle, or you can bring it down to its minimum and make a triangle. The same goes for the star tool. You can press up and down to increase or decrease the amount of points it has, with its minimum amount creating another triangle. While you're dragging a shape out with the star tool, you can hold Alt or Option to create an even pointier shape. Small correction, hitting the Alt key is a toggle to switch between the pointy and less pointy shapes. This means you only need to hit the Alt key once to change it. The Flare tool at the bottom of the list is a bit of an outlier compared to its simpler cousins. It's highly complex, ignores any of your color choices, and anything other than the basic shape you drag out can only be accessed by clicking on the canvas with it. As you might guess, we won't be going over how to use this tool in this video. What I will be getting into, however, are important tips to always remember while using the shape tools. You can create a perfectly proportionate shape by holding Shift while dragging one out. This means you get perfect squares, circles, stars, and polygons. If you don't want to create a shape from a corner, you can hold Alt or Option to instead create it from the center point of a shape. This mostly applies to the rectangle tools and ellipse tool, and you can tell you're in that mode when the cursor changes. You can also hold space at any time to reposition where you're making your shape. You don't always have to click and drag a shape out, however. By clicking or holding Alt or Option, then clicking, you'll create a shape at the spot you clicked after you input some measurements. If you know the exact measurements you need for your shape, you can just manually input the values. If you didn't change the form of measurement when you created your document, or only know the measurement you want in a different form, you can manually input it along with the value. For objects with different variables like sides or rounded corners, you can also manually input these values. Finally, if you want to universally change the measurement on your whole document, hit Ctrl or Command plus R to bring up your rulers. Then right-click on either one to select a new measurement. You can also pull up rulers the long way by going to View, Rulers, Show Rulers. This is a very important and fundamental part of Illustrator I couldn't include anywhere else, so be sure to remember it. Feel free to mess around with these shapes and be sure to apply what you've learned from the previous videos. In the next video, I'll cover what's in the line tools. See you then.